Welcome to the Constant Struggle. I'm Nick Watson.
And I'm Brie Watson. And this is a podcast where we talk about the struggles balancing life and art.
Mm-hmm. And Brie, let's throw in physical, healthy activities as well, because you got to look after the vessel.
I understand you did some of those today.
I went skating with the Munchkins, with the kitties.
How Canadian.
It was quite Canadian, unlike other things that are going on in Canada right now. This was wholesome and good.
Yes. Nick, why don't you tell our listeners at home what it is you do in case this is the first time they're tuning into the episode?
Yeah. So I've got a job where I have to do a whole bunch of risk stuff on computers all day. And it's like 9 to 5 hours, 40-hour work week. But then, Brie, I want to do writing. I want to be the
written word.
Mm-hmm. Which, you can't just write. You got to take stuff in too. So like reading, watching films.
Going skating.
Yeah. Looking after one's health. Eating food is important. You should do that.
Nutrients.
So like fill all that crap into your day, and good luck having any time wasting on Twitter.
It's true. It's true. Just
I gotta cut it out, man.
Do it. Just cut it out.
Cut it out.
Oh, all right, Bebop Saget, even though you're not the one who used to say those lines.
No, that Uncle Joey?
Yes, it was Dave
Coulier.
You got it. Yeah, I don't know. Just do it. I'm reading I don't know. Have you heard of Mark Manson?
Nope.
He wrote that subtle art of not giving a shit book.
Oh, I don't think it's a shit, but yes, that book is in our house.
Exclamation mark.
It's an F word.
Oh, you're right. It is shit. You're right. It is fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said shit. I censored, and then I thought you were. It is fuck. Oops. I'm sorry.
Respect.
I apologize. But yeah, anyway, he had a good one recently that was like, yeah, if you want to do something, it's fucking hard, but just fucking do it. Basically, that's not a direct quote. It's if it was easy, it's one of those, if it was easy, everybody would do it kind of thing. Yeah. And I just need to be reminded of that kind of stuff. Like, you got to get out of your comfort zone if you want to achieve anything. And that means get off Twitter, because and then what else was I reading? Oh my goodness, Nick, this is good. You're tapping into my brain right now.
Okay.
I was just reading about, I'm reading James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and basically how cell phones in general are just made for you to waste time on them. It chemically, the way that you interact with your cell phone is just made for ease and laziness.
They're little dopamine machines. We're the freaking rat in the maze hitting the cheese button. You know what I mean?
Over and over and over. And that cheese is Twitter.
You know what's worse than Twitter right now is fucking Instagram with their little vignettes and their I don't know, whatever they're called. It's like
stories. They're stories.
Yeah, but it's basically just TikTok videos.
Yeah, it's Instagram's version, or it's Meta's version of TikTok.
Oh, goddamn Meta.
Well, why don't I tell folks what I do?
Okay, Brie,
we'll get everybody up to date.
You talk.
My name is Brie, and I'm a comedian and an improviser and an improv instructor, and dare I say entrepreneur, because I own my own business, which is Improv Niagara in the Niagara region. And and then a sketch comedian and comedy writer. Anyway, I'm trying to do all of the comedy things. I live in the Niagara region with my husband and my cat, Jelly Bean, in case you were wondering.
Is the cat or the husband? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm married to Jelly Bean. And then the struggle here involves trying to get all that done, and also, maintaining one's health and maintaining one's social things, and living through a pandemic and all that kind of stuff, trying to find balance there.
Yes.
Today is episode number 75, and we're chatting with Megan Fraser, who's a makeup artist based in Toronto. She does a lot of really in addition to doing special effects makeup on movies and in TV shows, She also has a really cool Instagram where she does a lot of self painting onto herself, creating different.
Her face is her canvas,
That's
literally.
true. That's true. So we're going to chat with Megan. You're going to hear that in a couple seconds. This was a really fun episode.
I learned a lot, Brie.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably weren't super aware of what was going on in the makeup industry, Nick.
No, but like when she talks about it, you're like, oh God, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
So
It's
get ready to learn, everybody.
I like learning. Speaking of learning, how is your editing process? I don't know. That's a bad segue.
Oh no, I'm struggling to do my short story right now.
Oh, is it
Toronto Star?
It's Toronto Star short story. And how long do you have to do it?
Till the end of February.
And have you begun writing?
Not writing. I'm still in the. I keep saying thought bubbles, but that's not right.
You can
brainstorming.
Be in the thought bubbles. Oh, okay.
Brainstorming.
I see. A good brainstorm once it gets raining will drop many thought bubbles onto you.
So I know what the story is. This one wants to write itself. Like I tried to think of other ideas, but this one kept coming up. So I'm like, fine, I'll do you. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Then be the conduit of the muse, Nick.
Yeah. It's very much couched in the last 2 years of this global fucking shit show.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to reading it. Good luck continuing to write it.
Thank you.
I'm going back to in-person teaching tomorrow, and I am scared.
Wow. Oh, wait. Why are you scared? You're all vaxxed, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but people I know who are vaxxed are still getting COVID, so I don't know. I guess I'm not that terrified. I know it's not that bad.
I think we're getting
vaxxed.
No matter what, we're going to get it.
I've just been really used to not getting sick these past couple of years, and I don't want to get sick.
Yeah. Brie Marin's got it.
Oh, poor Marin. Oh my goodness, it's been a long time. Yes. Oh, poor Marin. Is he doing okay?
He's doing okay. Sounds like, yeah.
Our friend of the podcast, Dave Lottie, has it. Poor guy. And he's also getting over it, so that's good.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess that's good.
We just got to watch out for the under fives and our immunocompromised friends. They're still in trouble.
That's right. Keep an eye on them. It will be the first time I check out Comedy Bar's new location, so that'll be interesting. Comedy Bar East.
Go right in Greektown, Avery. You can get
it's beyond Greektown, just because it's further. Is
that like Turkish
east.
Town or?
Yeah, or basically in the cold winters of Scarborough. Not quite Scarborough, but it's further east than Greektown for sure.
Oh, okay, cool.
It seems to be in the furniture district. I was looking at the map, and there are so many different furniture stores, and the building itself used to be a furniture store. So
love that. Plenty of chairs available.
I was hoping there'd be lots of comfy beds, just in case you get tired of the drive on the way there. So that's happening, yeah. And then everything's kind of opening up this month, so we're gonna see if we can start putting on some shows. Mm-hmm. In January, we tried to do as many, we did a couple online shows, and I think we're still going to do some online shows in the coming, future. I found that it's such a great way to connect people who, we've got a buddy from one of Improv Niagara's former castmates is currently living out in BC. So we don't really get to talk to them that often. But now, they can come in and jam with us if we're having a jam. And it's a great way to stay connected. If there are people who, if the weather's too bad and they don't want to get out of the house or whatever the case may be, it's a fun way to still stay connected and united. So we're going to probably keep doing a couple of those. As we continue moving back into the real world as well.
The new normal.
That's right. I do find it interesting, Nick, that I don't know. Are you encountering, before we jump into the episode, are you encountering any struggles of any kind?
Getting the short story written.
Okay. Yeah. And what's holding you back?
I don't know. It's a darker story and depressing, and I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And
So
like I said, the Instagram, like I come downstairs to work, I plop on the couch, I was like, I'll just look at a video, and that's 5 hours later.
no, you have to keep. So this is what James Clear says. He says you have to make these habits. If you want to break them, you have to make them unattractive. So you have to keep this. You have to give yourself a challenge to accessing your phone. Do you need your phone when you're writing?
I mean, just for music listening.
Um, can you listen to music in a different way, like on your actual computer?
Well, no, I mean, no, it's good to do the music listening on my phone because the way it's set up in my office, it's unreachable. It's like behind me. So the struggle is to get to the office
Okay.
and not
then,
this delightfully comfortable couch.
Well, maybe put shit on the couch. Put stuff on the couch so you can't sit on it easily.
Mm-hmm.
Spiky things, preferably. But that was it. He says, like, make it unappealing, make it difficult, make it a challenge to have to do the things that are sucking all your time. Because right now, like we were mentioning earlier, it's so easy to just grab your phone. And then before you even know it, like you said, you've been spending like 20, 25 minutes staring at people dance. I don't give a shit about people dancing. I do, actually. But I kind of like watching, there are videos of people doing ballet and tap that I find really interesting. But I shouldn't be spending my time doing that. Cool. Here's my struggle this month. I found out I have high blood pressure.
Oh my God, welcome to my world.
Yeah. So I talked to my doctor, and my doctor was like, okay, either you could go on medicine, or like, I'm tempted to give you medicine, or, we could try some ways to lower it naturally. And I'm like, cool. What are those ways? Mm-hmm. And she told me, and I have been doing them, and it's been a week now, and I have lowered it pretty significantly. So yeah, the past week has been just modifying my whole life to accommodate for this. Yeah. Luckily, Dan's such a great cook that we've actually made it fun. We've made it good. I don't feel like I'm lacking. I don't feel flavor. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sad about it. And I think I don't know if I told you this. No, because last time we spoke was last year's kind of episode wrap up, and I had already. So there's two things that are weird here that I want to tell you about, Nick. Uh-huh. The first one is that at the beginning of the year, I'm like, that's it, I'm off Coke. I read this, I'm reading this book that's
Coke
bad
is the
habits.
devil. Oh my
I know,
God.
I'm like, that's it, I'm off Coke. So I had already started not drinking Coke, and then got this news. So luckily, I was already a step in the way of, reducing
the right direction.
Exactly. Sure. So that helped. And the other thing is, do you ever do this? I pick words of the year. I listen to a lot
I do not, but carry on.
Yeah, so it's kind of a word of the year, and you hope you set that intention for the year. So some people it's some people it's motivation or health or abundance or all kinds of, whatever it is that you want to bring and invite into your life that year. Last year, my word was pay. So, because I just wanted to it wasn't because it was the pandemic. I wanted to be I wanted to focus on getting really good at my books, making sure my books were done and I wasn't lagging behind, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, whatever, I'll take care of that later. And then it ends up being 4 months and I haven't done any of my receipt tracking or anything.
Oh, okay, dokie.
Yeah. So I wanted to stay on top of that, but I also wanted to make sure that, when I did work, I was getting paid for it. And I wanted to make sure, money. It was a money thing. And Improv Niagara ended up doubling our revenue last year. So it was kind of nice. Cool. Yeah. Go. So here's the weird thing though. So my word for this year was systems.
Okay.
I want to improve my systems.
Yep.
And 2 weeks in, I get this call from the doctor who's like,
your cardiovascular system.
And this is exactly what you have to do to get it back on track. Follow this system, So it's well, that's all right.
You're like, that's your opinion. I'm going to do my own research.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Nick? Shall we get to the episode?
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah. All right. Get ready. This is episode 75. You're about to hear Megan Fraser talk to us about makeup. It's super fun. Mm-hmm. Hope you enjoy.
Teaching and talking to blank screens, it's it's like I'm talking to a wall, and then my
Yeah.
class is probably like 20 minutes longer than it has to be because I just keep ramming. You don't get that acknowledgement of like the head nod of like, okay, I get this.
Yeah. Luckily
So
with
you keep
improv,
talking.
like you have to see them on improv. They can't opt out of turning their cameras on.
We made it used to be a rule because privacy, because a lot of students like their backgrounds kind of could give away where they are for safety reasons, and like some people maybe didn't have the nicest house, so that's why now there's an option like blur their background. So now we're like, suck it, you have to be on camera, but also like you're in school, you need to prove that you're in school. Don't try to be sneaky, because also you can go into Zoom afterwards and see how long everybody was in the Zoom call. So if they like logged in and logged out. So
there used to be like well, I don't remember, it was another, not Zoom, it was like I don't know, GoToMeeting or something. There would be a little button or like a little light that would show up if you could tell the person watching the presentation sort of drifted off or wasn't paying attention. A little light would go up next to their
like
name.
their eye focus left.
Yeah, so you could be like,
oh, that's creepy.
I know.
That's like above. Like that's too much, I think.
Yeah, GoToMeeting was too much. It was not. It was not very.
That's funny. And a laser came out and shot you.
Yeah. Oh God. Welcome, Megan Fraser, to the podcast. We're so happy to have you here.
Yay, I'm excited.
Yay. Megan, for those of you at home listening, is a makeup artist, I guess, but also like a writer and also a comedian and also a teacher. Or have you abandoned a couple of those titles?
See, like comedy was something that I was, gung-ho hardcore for. And then I went to school for makeup, and then I couldn't pursue comedy as much. And then I got lazy. And I realized leaving my house at any point was too much for me. So I was like, I'll stick to just like joking on the internet. But I do want to go back to it. I do miss the performing. I think the 6-year hiatus has been enough. So maybe I'll blame the pandemic and for not performing right now.
For at least like half of it anyway.
Yeah.
But I hate to start the conversation being like, we're going to go back to comedy, because you're obviously a really great makeup artist. You're good at what you do. They hired you to teach at a professional institution. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about how you got into being a makeup artist?
Yeah, it kind of happened due to sadness and depression. I think
the best things do.
As most professions begin that way. I think it's kind of started with I was going through like a fresh breakup. I had turned 27 and I was working at like a garbage restaurant. Sorry if you could figure out which restaurant I worked at. But and I just had a moment of like, what am I doing? I need some sort of viable skill. Like even if it's not like a job, like I need to know how to do something. So my friend Kristen was like, oh, you love Halloween. Why don't you look into being a makeup artist? Because she was working in film already. And she was like, it's a job. And I never even really knew all the avenues of being a makeup artist. And also this is back in like 2011, 2012, when Instagram wasn't really that big. And like Pinterest, they don't think really was around. So there wasn't that kind of oversaturation of makeup and beauty and all that.
Now every single human now is a drag queen. So yeah, I mean,
everyone's a drag queen, everyone's a makeup artist, everyone's a photographer, because the internet says so. But so when I was looking up schools, there's a couple in Toronto that I was looking at, but they were really expensive. And then I had a nervous breakdown being like, I can't afford school. And then I started Googling just working makeup artists in film, and a lot of them had went to Sheridan. I'm like, Sheridan, but that's where I work now too. But and it's a great school. I had a really great time there. I took they have a 2-year makeup program as well as an advanced special effects program. So I did all the things. And
what is the just like makeup? What do we talk? What's the difference, makeup versus special effects makeup?
So the regular makeup program is kind of it helps you kind of almost realize what you want to do. Like obviously I'm somebody who wants to do everything, so it was kind of nice for me. But first semester you kind of learn the basics of like color theory and just like the basic application of everything. Then you start getting into things like era and trends, and then you get into like TV and film makeup and theatrical makeup, and then you get into like body painting and out of kit special effects. So when you graduate just the makeup program, you basically have all the skills to like work in fashion, work in TV and film, work in where kind of whatever outlet you kind of want to. And then the advanced special effects program is kind of, you learn how to make prosthetics that you use for film. You learn how to make props. You learn how to make puppets. It's more than just makeup program. It's like prop building.
So this is where all your like just your Instagram full of fingers comes.
I make a lot of fingers. I have like, I love that no one's gonna be able to see this, but I just have like a rubber hand.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's my hand I made out of silicone. But yeah, just the random, but that's what I really liked about the program too, is the random skills I learned. Like I made my cousin finger earrings for Christmas because she's a lot like me and loves the horror and gore of stuff. So I made two molds of my pinky fingers and painted them up and sent them to, I'm glad they weren't like confiscated by like Canada Post.
Yeah.
We made it to Kelowna. So
like, what?
but just little stuff. Like I was working on a film. The reason I was on the highway, scary highway during the snowstorm we had to drive to Belleville I made a puppet, like a Muppet puppet.
Sure.
For a film, and I got a puppeteer, so that was really cool too. So that was an opportunity I ended up getting from taking that program.
Okay.
That I
So
never
you
thought.
made a puppet for someone that was put in a film?
Yeah, and I got a
fun.
puppeteer as well. So yeah, I got to make a puppet from scratch, and it was really, really fun. I got to make like we kind of dubbed it like a Muppet that you'd buy off of Wish, where it was a little bit off. Like,
yeah.
I couldn't really 100% steal exactly how they would make it look.
Sure.
But a little bit of it, everything was slightly off. So an Alibaba Muppet, but it was really, really fun. It was like something that I would love to pursue even more. So another thing, you never know. I'm sure you're the same way, where you kind of find one thing and it kind of like branches out into numerous different opportunities, and you can, take what you get. It's life, right? You never know what path you're going to end up on.
Yeah, well, especially there's so many different avenues in the film industry, and being in Toronto, there are quite a few comedians I know who got super into puppet making.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's just our childhood. I think if we're all around that age of like Muppets, like Fraggle Rock, now Fraggle Rock's back. Yeah, like that was my thing. It's also all the kid shows were puppets, right?
Yeah.
So
Sesame Street.
Yeah, Sesame Street, or like even like Big Comfy. I was a little bit too old for my Big Comfy Couch. Still watched it, but all those shows, we were really like to give something that doesn't really have the emotion you can bring to someone, like a face, and still exactly what they're thinking just by movement, is so neat.
Yeah.
So neat.
I mean, I'm just thinking about for anybody listening at home, you got to check out Megan Fraser's Instagram, just because of the insane body art that you do on a regular basis. Now we were just talking about puppets, and I was thinking of like dinosaurs, the TV show, and I remembered your baby Sinclair, body art, which is amazing. So is it just kind of with the growing of Instagram that you were like, I can use this as a platform to sort of showcase my abilities here?
It was the whole body painting thing kind of came out of a mixture of things. My Instagram has never been like super popular, and it's still
Twitter was, though. That's another thing that maybe you do, maybe you don't know. Nick and everybody at home, Megan co-wrote that Stats Can book that was super popular for a while. The Twitter website.
That was hilarious.
Twitter page, for Stats.
It was a weird time. 2012. That was around 2012, 2013. So it was right when I decided to go back to school. I got involved with this Twitter account just randomly. I think because that was around the time like Twitter was big. Like that was like Twitter comedians came out of the woodwork. And
it was still fun too. It wasn't all bots and
that was
evil.
like when I joined Twitter right around then.
Yeah.
Like,
and then we started this stupid Twitter account about making fun of random, but it's also so funny because so many different Twitters and even like things like the Beaverton and stuff like that, I feel kind of rolled off. Not saying like he started it, but like that just complete kind of randomness of Twitter making fun of things and having people think it's real. That's that satire. And then we had an agent, like a literary agent, just messaged us one day in our DMs, and we were just like, okay. not even thinking, we thought like we get self-published and then sell on Amazon or whatever. But then when we sent the idea to a couple publishers, like 4 or 5 got back to us and we're like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we gotta choose, which was neat. So we went with Penguin because we liked the idea that they had, that they were like, we want it to kind of be like a bathroom reader where nothing's more than a couple pages.
That's kind of what Twitter is anyway, you know?
Yeah. And also that was kind of our thing. Like we can't write, like even the larger content that we wrote for the book was still only like 4 or 5 pages. We wanted to stick with like graphs and charts and just easy reading that was funny, because I think how small, like the humor was very childlike-ish. So I think if we tried to drag that out into like a 20-page
thesis,
yeah, good word, no one would care. So it was great. And then we got a second book. I wasn't a part of the second book, but it did well as well. And then things happened. If anyone knows the story of what happened with one of our writers, did bad things. He yeah. I could get into it. I don't know if anyone cares, but look it up. One of our writers was a creep. So then disbanding happened, and
yeah, that's too bad.
That's
man.
kind of what, and also
That
like
seems
it kind
like
of,
as far as
a natural end happened anyway, but then a
Okay.
non-natural end happened with creepiness. And
Can men just stop? Can I just say, I want just men to stop. Can we stop? So many like new stories about comedians all the time. Well, I don't know. I know the comedy world, right? And I'm sure it's happening everywhere, but
just the stories of, you're just like, oh, then you kind of, some of them aren't shocking, and you're like, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
Yeah. It's like, yep.
Maybe before we jump into Instagram, I feel like I feel a little bit out of sorts because I haven't started at the beginning, and normally I like to start at the beginning. Tell us about little Megan Fraser as a kid, how you got into how you discovered your creativity and how you sort of decided you wanted to pursue it. Is that okay, Nick? I see a green light on Nick, which means maybe you wanted to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry for the green light. I didn't know I was doing that.
Oh, okay. you might have moved slightly.
A slight sound.
Yeah.
Brie, that's a very good question. I don't know. No, I think again, like art kind of ran in my family. Like, none of my family really pursued it. Like my mom's even like, I don't know where it came from. Like, wasn't grandpa an actor? She's like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think she forgets, like, my grandfather was an actor. He did a lot of theater in Alberta, and I met my grandmother, and then my grandma on the other side is a painter. So it's like, and then my uncles are radio DJs. So it's like, it was a weird, like, still being artistic and like wanting to perform and stuff like that, but in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always like building stuff. Like I made like a lot of paper mache puppets when I was a kid. Cool. I made like a marionette out of, and my mom's like, your floor was always like sticky with glue and flour. Making stuff like that. And then I don't know, I was never, high school, I kind of got into drama and like improv. I think that was kind of the beginnings of, I never really pursued like practical art when I was in school, but I was in like band and I was in drama. And then I was lucky and went to a high school that had an improv team, and we went to I lived in Calgary. So Calgary was like the one city that wasn't part of the Canadian Improv Games. So it was like
weird.
I didn't even know about it. And then I moved here. Everyone's like, were you a part of it? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I wasn't either, because I went to a French school, so that's why we didn't know about it. We had different improv stuff, but just for French people. Anyway, why wouldn't Calgary be?
I don't know. I think it might have been because I went to Loose Moose. I did a lot of improv with Loose Moose, and I think it's because maybe Keith Johnston. Sorry?
Did you train with Keith at all?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was. He was very intimidating at first, and then very, very nice man, very smart. Had some amazing stories. And when I started there, so yeah, I did improv in high school, and then I was in the plays and stuff, and I was like, I want to be an actor, and that was my goal at first. Then I started doing improv, and then I fell into doing stand-up as a joke. A lot of my life, you know me at all, a lot of my big accomplishments in quotes have happened because I thought,
come on, that's a self-limiting. I'm calling out. You're doing great. Megan.
But yeah, a lot of the things I've done are because I thought it'd be funny. And doing stand-up, I was like, never really thought of being a stand-up, but me and a couple other improvisers were like, why don't we go to Yuck Yucks? They usually have like a meeting before the show. So they have like whoever was headlining or middling or whatever, sometimes would do like a question answer period before the Tuesday night show, which would be like the amateur night. So I'd go early and we listened. I wish I remember who it was. Was it Nikki Payne? I don't remember. Nikki Payne was one of them, which I was really inspired by, which later lived with her in Toronto,
cool.
which was so weird. But
A funny lady.
she's so funny and so nice and so nice. So nice.
The best.
But yeah, I ended up doing okay, so to get into amateur night, they passed the bowl around and you like dug out a number, and if you got a number, you're on the show the next week. So we're all like, let's try it. And like there was like 60 amateur people trying to get on for 5 slots. So I was like, I'm not gonna get it. And I drew number 2 and I was like, fuck. I was like, I've never written stand-up before. I guess I'm on next week. So
is it like 5 minutes or?
It was 5 minutes, yeah, like
Okay,
4 and a
cool.
half usually. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I remember watching the show and kind of just like sussing out everybody, being like, okay, I know what a stand-up joke is. So
I've heard of this humor before.
what is this? So I wrote 5 minutes. Looking back, I had one joke that I hope there's no record of because it's so. It's not like it's offensive in like a not disgusting way, but I remember saying it and I was like, ooh, I hope like.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was not. Again, it was the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Me.
we had a lot to learn.
I was 18, 17, 18. Could I drink it? 18. I was 18 because Alberta drink at 18. But yeah, I remember. But yeah, the stage was kind of off to the side, so you could see what I was doing, and I was just pacing back and forth. And at the time, it was before iPhone, so I had like a tape recorder that I put down.
Oh, okay.
Which is so funny thinking about. Like I had to buy a separate tape recorder.
I know.
And now our phones do everything, but the guy who was, I have this on tape. I wish I still had the tape recorder, but it's on tape wherever in a garbage dump, wherever that tape recorder ended up. But he asked me what my name was, and I said Megan, and he thought I said Brenda, which doesn't sound like Megan at all. So when he introduced me, he's like, Megan, or he's like, a good friend of mine, which always makes me laugh, Brenda Fraser. So the first thing I said was like, oh, my name's actually Megan. I'm glad we've been friends for years. So that got a laugh. So I think that was like, saying that off the bat, the nerves kind of went away. And I was like, okay, I think I have, because from doing improv, like, you know, when you have the audience and you can literally say anything.
Was he trying to be funny like a Brendan Fraser?
Was that a joke?
I don't know. I didn't even think of Brendan Fraser. Brenda. I should have gone with that. Oh, let me go back in time to 2001. Whenever that was, but he helped me. I think I would have probably just sweat through my shirt and cried after if I didn't get that first little laugh. And then I did the set and went off, and the manager kind of took me aside and asked me if I wanted to start doing Wednesday nights, and I was like,
whoa.
It happened very fast.
That's great.
And
this is Yucks in Toronto or in Calgary?
In Calgary.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. If you ever want some terrible Yucks Toronto stories, I have numerous.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine.
And that's why I
haven't been back for 5 years.
Well, also, and also I call them out a lot on social media because they do some horrendous shows. Like no one needs to go see a white guy's
white power show or whatever.
Yeah, the white supremacist. There's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, back to young Megan. Once I kind of hit a point where I couldn't really go any higher because Yucks didn't want me to tour because I was a young woman and they were concerned for my safety.
Well, that's the first time
that's so noble of them.
That's the first time Yucks has ever been concerned about a woman's safety.
Women, I know. Later, when the white supremacists and like Proud Boys were harassing me on social media, Yucks did nothing.
Where were
they? Just have Aaron Berg, who's like, feel free to bleep his voice. I don't care. You can come after me. Who has many white supremacist fans. Getting them to come after me was a great time. But anyway, I ended up moving to Toronto. I went to Humber College for comedy writing and performance.
Ooh, what? So did I. Who were your classmates? Anybody still doing comedy?
Yeah. So I think I was one of the last years when they had a 1 year like post grad version.
That's what I think I would have loved to have taken, because I had already studied. I'd already gone to university and stuff. But
yeah,
whatever,
I
the
did
2 years.
But
fine.
I got in because I submitted a tape of my stand up and just talked about how I'd already been doing this for a bit, and I felt like I didn't need a full 2 years. And they're like, okay. So it was me and my friend Will, who I did improv and stand up with in Calgary. We kind of moved together.
Oh, nice.
So I'm trying to think. So Rebecca, probably the most, there's a lot, like Rebecca Adelman, she's a director now. She directed a couple movies, and she directs TV shows, doing very, very well. Cool. Which is cool, because she also came from not really performing or doing much. So we kind of had like, at Humber, there's like 30 of us, but then we were kind of like the young guns, because there's a lot of older, because it was a post-grad program. There were a lot of like 40-year-old, I'm saying a lot of old 40-year-olds. I'm like, I just turned 39, awesome. But a lot of older people, older than not 21-year-old like
exactly.
me.
Yeah.
So we all kind of found each other that way. So there's a guy named Kevin Gleese. He moved to Atlanta. He's an improviser and does movies. He's married to Amber Nash, who voices a character on Archer, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he was super cool and a really great guy to know. Josh Saltzman, also, he writes for TV, for children's television. He was in my class. Who else was in my class? Trevor Boris, who kind of dropped out halfway through. Humber at the time always had kind of one, especially in the post-grad, they'd always like give one person a scholarship, and then they'd kind of be like the big name. And Trevor was like he still is a good performer. But he was kind of like the up and comer at the time.
Gotcha.
So he was like the golden boy, and then he dropped out, and everyone's like, oh no.
I think, yeah.
But a lot of good people in that program, who even like the year after, like Nathan Fielder was in the year after us. So I was like, yeah, it was kind of cool knowing him before.
Yeah.
And like doing shows at like, remember like, when did you start doing comedy in Toronto?
So
Brie?
Not until, it was a little bit later. I moved to Toronto in 2010.
Okay.
So yeah.
There was a place called The Oasis.
2009, maybe it was the end of 2009.
Did you ever do a show at the Savannah Room?
No.
Did you hear about the Savannah Room?
No.
So it was like a bar on College. I think it's a sushi place now. It's like College and like just, is that Augusta? What's the, like right before you get into Kensington? It's on College though.
Perfect.
And like rats would have fights like in the corner while you're trying to do a show. I'm like, oh, there's a rat fight. But it was like a hole in the wall. Like, this is because I did comedy before, like Comedy Bar and all the actual comedy clubs. So we did shows in the back of bars.
Yeah, or the basement. I remember the Crown and Tiger was the
the pee
popular one.
basement.
Yeah, it did smell like pee.
It was pee.
Nice.
Or even like the Brunswick House was a big comedy hub for a bit. And if you're from Toronto or whatever, that was known as like the college kind of date rape bar.
Oh.
And then it became a Rexall, and now I don't know what it is.
Isn't it still a Rexall?
No, I think the Rexall closed.
Oh my goodness! What in this economy they're closing pharmacies?
I really wanted to get my my booster shot there because I wanted to just say I got it there, but I didn't. I got it elsewhere.
Good.
But yeah, anyway, then I did comedy for a bit, and then I met like people like you, and I did storytelling. Remember when storytelling was like the big thing?
Yeah.
So I think that's when I met you at a storytelling show, right?
Possibly. It would have probably been one of Aaron Rodgers' storytelling, because she did.
I believe so, at Comedy Bar. I think we're
Aaron Rodgers, the football star.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, I think of
that dope. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, it's so funny even thinking back to like the people you hung out with all the time. Yeah. Like a lot of the people I hung out with moved away. Like one of our best friends moved to Tasmania. So
that's right.
Oh.
I was like, me too. Wait a minute, we're talking about the same person.
I have four friends who all moved outside of Canada, met their husbands, and now will never come back. So I'm just like, do I need to move away to meet a partner? yeah, I have a friend in LA. I have a friend in Chicago. Mandy Sellers is there. And then my friend Chris McGregor is in LA. And then
is Mandy still doing comedy? Because I knew that's why she moved. Like originally it was like, let's, I'll get this transfer at my job so I could do more comedy.
I think, yeah, she was before, like obviously before COVID happened. I think she had an improv troupe and was doing very well. And I was going to go visit her. And then
I love Chicago. Oh my God. What a great city.
Love Chicago. And now that I have a car, I'm like, I will drive there.
Yeah, it's not a bad drive. It's a really enjoyable drive to Chicago.
Yeah. I had the first time I went, I was like, Chicago was like us, like people compare New York and Toronto. I think Chicago's closer to Toronto.
Agreed.
But it's way more arty and like they appreciate art more, I think. In Toronto, we pretend we do. And
we're like, we'll dedicate certain venues to like really fun, creative things and then immediately turn them into condos.
Yeah. Well, it was even like the Gladstone and stuff like that. They're like, we're going to make this super artsy. Now it's like a legit hotel. And I'm like, Or the Drake.
Yeah.
No, the Drake Underground. There was a place I used to go.
That was a cool place. You should watch the National Theater of the World there after Bread and Circus shut down.
Oh, the Bread and Circus. I had one of the worst stand-up shows of my entire life at the Drake Underground. And it was for, remember, it's going to leave my head now. Remember Diesel Playhouse?
I never went to, but I heard a lot about it. It was the one that was like across the street from Second City.
It was Second City, then Second City moved, and now it's a condo. Oh no, it's a hotel. And I did up in there.
It's a hotel.
It was I was weird. It looks nothing the same.
Yeah.
But the Tim Sims, there we go. The Tim Sims Awards. If you remember those.
I did. I was nominated for one.
Were you?
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was pissed about it. So I was kind of getting ready for those. I wasn't nominated, but I was I got to do the show for the show.
Nice. Okay.
Or I got to try out, I guess.
Okay,
try out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. Showcase or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I did a show at the Drake, and I remember because it was such like a hipster, like too cool show, and I was kind of like teetering between like mainstream comedy and like absurdist stuff. So sometimes it hit and sometimes it didn't, depending on the art. Like it was, I don't know. I watched a lot of Mr. Show and tried to do stuff like that, but so like I've never had like crinkling of wrappers and coughing. You could just hear all that stuff.
No.
So I remember as I got off stage, I just walked down the aisle and like I was sitting in the aisle, so I just grabbed my backpack and like left. And I didn't even stay for the rest of the show. I was just like, I'm gonna quit.
I've done those. Yeah, I've had.
And then I had my TV show the next day, and it went really, really well.
Oh, yeah, that's how it works, right?
It did so well. I thought I was gonna get nominated, and then I didn't. And then someone told me I was like 6 out of the 5, and I was just like, I quit.
Yeah.
I can't remember who won my year. Who did win my year? It was a guy. Oh, Graham Chittenden. I went to school with. Did he win? He's a really good stand-up.
Yeah.
Did he win? I know he was nominated though, and I was very jealous. But he's very, very funny as well. But I had a really good Humber year. I'm still in contact with a lot of them. Only one like went crazy.
Okay.
There's always the one person that you're like, you're in comedy because
because
your brain is broken.
It's cheaper than therapy, I guess.
Yeah. You're like, I can talk about all my issues on stage, and you're like, that's not funny.
No, I don't want to. Yeah, that's not. It's not the platform.
I don't know. And I'm trying to think of where this story started. I'm like, what else? Then comedy happened, and then I decided to go to makeup school.
Right.
And then I was 28, and everyone else was like 17, 18. So it was kind of like, I'm just gonna focus on school. And I made some I'm still really good friends with 3 or 4 people I went to school with, but a lot of people, even now, like teaching there's a lot of people who go to makeup school who just want to, have fun and play around with makeup. And there's people who actually are like wanting it as a job.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had the similar experience, but with Humber, right? Because I went to Humber and it was a bit later. I was 25, I think I was 26 when I went to Humber. So everybody's like, yeah, you go into comedy. Not everybody is going to become a comedian. They don't know how to work yet,
Yeah.
They're just fresh out of high school. So I could see how it'd be like, I just want to make my face look pretty.
Yeah.
Did you also have the kids that were like studying to be beauticians and stuff, or is that a completely different?
What's a beautician? Like, what's the difference between a beautician and a makeup artist?
I guess it's a job. I would when I think of beautician, I think of people who work like more in retail than
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like at the Bay or something, or I don't know, like are there not people that do your makeup in a like a hairstylist setting kind of thing?
So there's kind of different, like for the school that I like went to and now teach at, we teach just basic makeup. We don't teach like esthetician stuff. So we can't like,
face
like do
peels
like
and
sorry?
face peels and
No, we can't do anything that might draw blood because you have to be have your training for that, or like shaping eyebrows, or like you need to kind of be trained to do that like safely.
Sure.
So like I'll pluck a random stray hair, but like I won't shape someone's eyebrow. But yeah, people tend to go to makeup school for different reasons. Some people just want to kind of play around and learn makeup. Definitely, like with my students, there are a few that I'm like, oh, you actually want to do this as a job. And sometimes people, it takes a couple semesters for them to kind of find their way. When I started, I didn't know, again, anything about makeup. I didn't even know makeup brands. Like I kind of fell into it because I was like, I want to do special effects. And
Were
then
you like big into wearing makeup like before? No. Okay.
I still barely wear makeup. I was like a cover girl pressed powder and like Maybelline Great Lash mascara girl. I didn't fill in my eyebrows until like 4 years ago because I was like, I don't need to. And then I started doing it. I'm like, oh, it makes a difference. But like I'm the kind of makeup artist that doesn't, I think of makeup as if expression, like if you want to wear it to make yourself feel better, great. I don't think people need to wear it. But if it helps yourself seem great, I think it's really needed for TV and film because the bright lights and the that sort of thing brings out, the imperfections, stuff like that. So being trained, there's different kind of specialties, like doing makeup for weddings. The application and products are very different than TV and film, which are very different than fashion. So that's why I do like shirting, because we really kind of make sure that the students are aware of that. It's not just the same thing. Personal human being makeup that they wear in natural sunlight isn't going to look the same as in like a studio. Like you always you watch the news and you're like, why are they wearing so much makeup? Because they have to, because they're under such bright lights that if they don't wear like a thick cakey makeup, same in theater. If you ever went to theater school,
I took dance growing up and we had to wear like so much like cakey powder on our faces for the
that's because of
the spotlights.
Sorry?
Because of spotlights and the key lights and everything on you?
Yeah.
Because otherwise...
I never got a spotlight. I was always in the back.
Background.
Well, the stage lights themselves are really bright, though. You're in a dark room.
Yeah. And also to be seen from the very back of the theater. I remember Trixie Mattel would always be like, so people could see me from the back of the room, but also from like down the street to be able to... So that's why like things like winged liner and lashes and a big overdrawn red lip was such a big thing, especially anyone who was 8 and took dance school, having to wear that makeup because of, again, in theater, so you can see the eyes, you can see the mouth move. We've all, got our tickets to Hamilton and sat in the very back and we're like, can't see them. That's why they do. They all wear red lips and stuff so you can see their mouths move. Kind of, you still can't really see their faces, but it does help. But that's why that's important. And to contour the face out, because when the light's on you, it kind of makes your features all flat. So,
oh, look, that person has cheeks.
Exactly. But in real life, if you did that, you would look strange.
Pretty intense. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say like makeup, again, you can do whatever you want if it makes you feel good. There are kind of rules that make you look the most flattering and to work with your bone structure. But when I first started, when I first started doing makeup, I was really like hard on being like, that's wrong. Wow, that makeup looks crazy. Their eyebrows are weird. And now I'm more of a, if it makes them feel good, great. But again, trying to teach them why we do makeup versus doing makeup, like why we put makeup where we do. Like some people, they watch a YouTube tutorial and they're like, oh, this is where I put the eyeshadow. I'm like, well, That's how they put on their eyeshadow because
Yeah.
they have a certain eye shape. It's going to be different for you.
Yeah, how do I put on eyeshadow? My eyeshadow always like goes away in seconds.
You probably need an eye primer. Do you use an eye primer?
Nope. I don't
Damn.
even know what those words mean. I'm gonna look up.
So it's
eye
just like
primer.
I'm not like there's face primers and eye primers. Eye primer just is like a grippy
Okay.
surface for things to stick. And then because I always get creasy, like I get a little eyeshadow crease. So that helps you not get that.
Perfect.
But you probably have slightly hooded eyes. So
well, that's why I wear glasses, so I don't have to wear eye makeup. Actually,
it's funny because I was starting to wear contacts more often, and I was like, oh, glasses I feel are that security blanket where you're like, I look so awake when I wear glasses because you can't see my under eye bags.
Yeah, I say that's why I wear them. I also wear them because I'm very blind, so blind.
How blind are you?
Like, not quite legally blind, but pretty bad. I'm at like negative
8.
Oh, pretty close. -7. Yeah. How about you, Nick? How's your prescription? You pretty
Fucking
bad?
brutal. And because I'm getting older now, I'm having a tough time reading stuff near, which is like, well, my eye doctor's like, oh, you need bifocals. I'm like, no, I'm taking off my glasses because I could read that fine, and it feels like I'm giving my eyes a break. It's lovely.
There you go. Yeah. That'll probably only last a little while. You'll probably have to get those.
Well, whatever. I'm gonna ride this out as long as I can. I like.
I want to get laser eyes.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that procedure, but if you've got courage, then I say go for it.
My eyes have stayed the same. Like they maybe go up or down like 0.25. So the doctor said I'm a good candidate, but the whole I already have astigmatism. So like when you drive and you see like the star patterns around lights, do you get that?
I do when I'm not wearing my glasses.
Yeah. So I feel like it's going to get worse. If you get it with, I don't know, there's things about laser eye surgery that I'm sure I've been
astigmatism?
I don't know.
No, because that's the shape of your eye, though.
Yeah, I think my eyes are
shaped like an eye shape.
Oh, bro.
Shave it down like a grape.
Yeah.
But like I know like your sight in darkness isn't as good, and I'm just like I'm such a night person. I go to bed at like 10 p.m. so it wouldn't affect me at all. But the little things, I'm just like, it's so permanent that I'm just afraid of it. But also I have permanent indents in the back of my ears from glasses, so I'd love to not.
Yeah.
Then people say get your glasses fitted. Like I do. I just have such a skinny head that glasses don't stay on. Oh, they're not as bad anymore. But I also have like the nose imprints that I'm just like, I'd love not to have that.
Yeah.
Or to like wake up and see. Never had that.
Yeah,
that must be neat.
That happened once when I was super drunk and fell asleep with my contacts. It was like, no, this was bad.
Because my sight isn't super bad. I'm like at -4 in one eye and then -2 in the other.
Oh.
And there's been a few times I've woken up and I'm like, you think you can see? And I've almost left the house without my glasses. And then I went, oh, the world. But yeah, just I feel like almost everybody needs glasses now. Like I feel everybody, like nobody who doesn't have some sort of prescription or needs a prescription.
Yeah. Big eyewear's gotten to us.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's right. It's Ray-Ban. It's everything.
Just Ray-Ban. What other? I don't know any other glasses brands. Are yours Ray-Ban?
They're Ray-Ban.
Warby Parker.
What are these? These are from my eye doctor. I don't even know.
Yeah, I feel like my justification is I don't really buy a lot of high-end anything. So, and I need glasses constantly. So, high-end glasses. I said that after saying I have an iMac. Okay, glasses and computers.
The
things you use all the time.
Yeah, the things I use constantly. Yeah.
I'm gonna say something my mom taught me because I also grew up in like a house that we didn't really spend money on high-end things. Like we shopped in thrift stores before thrift stores were cool, that sort of thing. But my mom has said to me recently, it's so corny. It's like buy it nice or buy it twice. So if you go cheap, you're probably it's gonna break and you're gonna have to buy it again. So like with furniture, I've tried, even though IKEA's gotten a lot better than it was
Dan hates
20 years ago.
Hates IKEA.
Well, like my lovely desk here is IKEA and my table's IKEA and that's IKEA.
I love it. I don't get me wrong. IKEA. just I think he just doesn't want to put things together himself. I think it's as easy.
Yeah. But being able to, instead of getting like the $15 like only put together with those tiny pegs that you're like, why is it breaking? Actually spending the money has been really like the things I've purchased because I spent like $20 more or like even $100 more. Like, even though I wasn't again, Apple plug, even though I wasn't an Apple person, I've had this computer for a year and nothing has happened to it. Knock on all the wood, my IKEA fake wood.
The desk just breaks.
But compared to like, I had numerous other computers that either like the power cord would break or just like would shut down and the hard drive would explode or whatever. And I'm just like, it's been so nice to just know that hopefully nothing will happen to it. Again, watch me later be like, retract that, my computer exploded.
My power cord kind of frayed for my Mac laptop, but it was like after 7 years of using it, you know?
Yeah. For a while, it's because of it, like, it's kind of my own fault that a lot of my power cords would break because I'd use everything in bed. And then that, like, you'd move it around so much that it would loosen like the connection. And like, that's kind of my fault. But I find now, because I splurged beginning of pandemic, I was like, money has no, because I had no, like, I wasn't making any income. So I was just like, I'm just going to buy stuff to make myself feel better. Because in my head, I was like, well, I'm not going out to like, you know, comedy shows or movies, or I didn't really do a lot before pandemic anyway. But in my head, I was like, but I can now buy that new because I'm not spending the extra money. I'm not going on trips because I used to travel a bit. That was my I validated all my purchases in my brain to make myself feel better.
That's what we do, I feel, as artists who don't make a ton of money on a, you know, like consistent, like on
or know when it's
basis,
coming is always been the fun part, especially being like a makeup artist. Because sometimes you get paid, like depending if you're working on like a union job versus a non-union job. Union jobs, you get paid every 2 weeks versus non-union, you get paid whenever they feel like giving it to you. So
are you
sometimes you get paid right away?
Do you have to be, hang on, there's a union that you're part of for being a makeup artist?
So not for being a makeup artist, for working in film. So if you want to, you can get like an agent, work for an agency if you want to work in fashion. So you'd work for like the same agencies that have models and all that jazz. For makeup, you can be in the film union. So you can be in either Etsy or NABET. Okay. So I worked with some shows in the summer this year, last year, whatever year it is, last year, 2021. It's 2022. So with
time
those,
is a flat circle. It's all good.
You know what? Yeah, when everyone's like, new year, new me, I'm like, it's the same thing. Yeah. Later,
nothing changes. We are all dying and,
like, sure,
returning to
no one can see it, but good old no fun shirt of aging and dying. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, union. So yeah, working for the union is great because again, it's a union, so you know you're gonna get paid. You know how much you're going to get paid. It can't get changed. When you work on non-union stuff, I haven't had too many horror stories of working on. That's a lie. When I first started working out, I had some really bad experiences, but now I trust my gut more. Like I'm willing to say no to jobs now versus when I was first starting out, because I couldn't because I needed the money, and two, I would take anything because I just wanted to work. And now it's like,
yeah. I don't know. That's progress, right? It's good to know that you have that you're in a place where you don't, you know, you could be more discerning.
Yeah, I think that like career-wise, like I'm still like figuring stuff out where I want to go, but being able to say no when you hit that point where you're like, I'd rather like do nothing than make like $200, like that rate's too low for me, was a really kind of validating time. Like obviously I'll still work for a lower priced job if I feel like it's going to serve me in a artistic way, creative way. Like if I got to make something cool for something and they're like, here's all we have. But I know that they're being truthful about that. There's sometimes productions don't feel like a makeup artist is important. So they'll pay everyone their normal rates and then try to get a free makeup artist who is just out of school or isn't even trained. And specifically now, that's so gross. Well, not gross, but no, I'm gonna say gross, because a lot of people who are fully trained don't understand sanitation. We're working around eyeballs and mouths and nostrils that you can easily give someone a cold sore or a stye or pink eye or even like a staph infection.
Awesome.
Isn't that disgusting? If you have like dirty brushes or you have dirty makeup. And a lot of the time, I don't think a lot of productions even thought about that. Now with like
COVID.
Coronavirus,
wait,
what's happening with that? Not knowing what kind of mask to wear, not sanitizing in between people more so than you used to, that sort of thing. So if you get someone who's newer, they don't have that like, well, sometimes newer, again, this is not all the time. Some newer people are great, but someone who either is right out of school who isn't used to speaking up and saying like, I need more time with these actors because I have to clean in between people, or they have like 5 actors jammed in a trailer, or I'm saying trailer because in fancy productions usually have a trailer. In non-fancy it's usually like, can you work in this bathroom? You set up on but we also, this is the only working bathroom on set, so
everybody's gonna come in here to
so I've had to leave for someone to take like a dump and then go back and finish makeup. The glamour, the glitz. But it's some productions aren't willing to pay because they assume that it doesn't matter. Or even during the pandemic in general, a lot of productions weren't just not having makeup artists because I think because of insurance reasons, because we have to work with actors so closely. They were just getting actors to do their own makeup. And I had a lot of friends who were like, I'm working on a commercial and I have to do my makeup. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Like, can you teach me through Zoom? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I worked on a couple things where I actually was over Zoom showing them how to put the makeup on for a commercial. And then I also worked on a movie in 2020 in sentence, where I was just on Zoom and I taught them how to do even like special effects stuff. And that was kind of cool. It ended up pretty cool.
Okay.
But that was like to prove like movies can still be made during a pandemic. Now, I won't do that again.
Well, were they paying you for that? Were they paying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they paid me for that. They paid me for my time. But back to like not getting paid. It always bugged me because they'd be like, well, it's good for your portfolio. It's like, how much stuff do you think I need in my portfolio? Like, they're like thinking that we have like this encyclopedia portfolio. I'm like, no, we have like 25 photos. I don't need your badly produced movie in my
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just, that's kind of a beef that I have with the industry. Well, the industry, some of those movies I would even consider being in the industry, but I don't know. There's my tangent of just anger, because I don't like being, in general in life, I don't like getting treated like I'm not important in any way. Yeah. So as a makeup artist, getting kind of shit on by productions because they didn't bother to find like $400 for me or like whatever. So
yeah, that's brutal. I mean, it's the same with anything. Like, what if you had like I don't know, who knows? Like, you're not gonna have like an AD or a director be like, no, I guess I'll come in for nothing. Like, why treat everybody's essential on this film set?
But what always makes me laugh too is, I mentioned this I was on set yesterday. Good time. That was a good set.
Oh, good.
But I was talking to the camera guy and he was like, oh yeah, I bought all my own equipment and it's about $10,000. And I was like, you want to hear something crazy? That bag full of makeup is about $10,000 worth of product.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
And I think a lot of people forget how expensive it is.
And not just expensive. It's not like you could
You mean you didn't just go to Shoppers for that?
Yeah. It's not like you could
there
just
are
buy
some
like
good drugstore makeup for that.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'll just buy this one expensive thing. But no, you have to buy it for like every single tone and color of face. And
yeah. So and that's another thing, is making sure you hire a makeup artist who knows how to do makeup on everybody and not just their own skin tone. So yeah, having to buy also not even just like different colors, different like textures, different kinds of concealer for different types of skin, different kinds of foundation for different types of skin. every eyeshadow known to man. Brushes for a zillion people. Like once you start working, like more and more, obviously you're going to build up more stuff. But for me, when COVID hit and I didn't work for like almost not a year, but like 6 to 8 months, I wasn't working a lot. I had to throw out a lot of makeup. So when I had to, because everything it expires. So usually it doesn't expire because I use it up, but I didn't. So having to repurchase stuff was like, especially when you hadn't been working, I was just like, And I think that's what a lot of people do forget. Like we not only have to repurchase stuff, we have to replenish stuff because it gets washed off.
And it doesn't last forever,
and stuff we throw out, like cotton balls and Q-tips.
For bigger productions and stuff, do you get to invoice productions for like makeup that you buy?
It depends. It depends on what you're working on. Sometimes they'll give you a budget and they'll like, there's different kind of statuses. So sometimes they'll give you a budget and you can go buy stuff. Usually production should give you a kit fee. So the kit fee covers kind of what you use per day. So depending on what you're working on, it could be like $25-$50. Special effects sometimes more because special effects makeup cost more. But that usually covers stuff that you already have in your kit. Then they usually give you a budget for stuff that you might not have in your kit. Like if you're working on a big, gory special effects thing, I'm not going to have like 3 gallons of blood on me. I actually do have a lot.
1 gallon maybe.
Actually I should look. I probably have at least a gallon somewhere. But stuff that you have to buy, that's not something that you'd usually have. Sometimes you get an actor that specifically wants a certain something. You have to go out and buy it for them. I haven't had super picky actors, but some of them like specific colors and stuff. So you get production to cover that. So usually they'll cover that stuff. And if you're working on a that has like a zillion background people, they usually cover that. Usually they should. It's not even a usually thing. They should cover it, but some don't. But they should.
Crazy. I was shooting. How about like, I'm going to ask this question as an actor. How much is good chit chat okay? Or is it just shut up actor? The makeup artist is working.
It depends on the makeup artist. I'm very chatty. And sometimes too chatty where I take up too much time. It depends. I like a good conversation. I don't like when actors just shit talk people because that happens a lot. They shit talk production and I get stuck in the middle and I'm just like, because like I talk to
this is taking forever or that or
they'll like talk crap about another actor. Like it's happened before where they end up or talking about like the director. I worked on a film that there was a big rift between the actors and the director and I was like, I'm in the middle, and then they got in a fight in the makeup room and I was like, I'm doing makeup, and I had to listen to it and I was like, I feel uncomfortable. But conversation, again, it's going to depend on the makeup artist because some are kind of quiet and don't want to talk, but I like a good convo, but also I like having good conversations anyway. And I personally try to feel out the actor because I know some actors, if they're more method or if they need to go through lines, they like to have it be quiet. So.
Sure, I'm talking about my burger commercials. So as far as lines go, wasn't that?
Well,
this is a tasty burger.
Yum.
My one thing though, this is my one thing I don't like about and almost every actor does it. When I'm doing eyes or eyeshadow, I get them to close their eyes, but sometimes they kind of open one eye and close one eye to read their script. But like try closing one eye and having a flat eyelid. You can't do that. No. But they think they can. So it's like, meh. Or coming to set with like, especially if I'm doing hair, like sopping wet hair. Not even just slightly damp hair, like unless it's like a downpour, like that's I'll deal with it. But like what to dry someone's hair and then style it takes so long. And especially because it's like you gotta get done. Like they don't care. They just want to get
people's hair too.
I try not to anymore. But when I was first working out, a lot of like lower budget non-union stuff will get you to do hair or any kind of like actor headshot.
Gotcha.
Fashion stuff usually gets people to do hair and makeup because usually if it's a lower budget thing, they can save a little bit of money.
Right.
But then you can make a little bit more money.
Nice.
sometimes they just pay you the same rate as just doing makeup. But if it's just like normal, like a ponytail or waves or something, it's usually not a big deal. But if they want like a style, I'm like, get a hair person.
Yeah.
And also in general,
I thought you were gonna say, "Get the fuck out of here!
go out of my room.
Get out of my trailer."
No, I think a lot of the time, this goes for weddings, this goes for TV film as well. It takes less time. Just hire one more person, like hire a hair person, hire a makeup person. And also it's safer with COVID too, right? So I know it's an extra person, but it's like having two people getting done at the same time across from each other will take way less time. So a lot of people think they're going to save money by getting a hair and makeup person, but like for weddings, like it just takes so much time.
Yeah.
So especially if you like 8 bridesmaids, it's like you have one person doing 8 people, or like 2 people doing 8 people. Like,
yeah, most of the time they'll bring somebody with them too, like, so in addition to whatever they quoted you as far as, their service.
Well, usually depend. They usually know better in the quote.
Yeah.
Like for me, if I do more than, I'd say 5 is my max, because then I get too tired and I don't want to. And like I like making money, but it hits a point where I'm like, I'm too tired. I can't do any more.
Yeah,
people.
I'm not gonna make your hair look good. I'm exhausted, or your face look good. I'm done.
Or like it takes 5 hours. Like it's 5 hours of straight work, which like for most people are like, huh? But like you're standing.
Hopefully with the bride, hopefully they're treating you good, giving you some mimosas while you're at it, letting you snack.
You know what though? When I first started doing like bridal makeup, I'd be like, yeah, I'll totally have one. And then I remember one day I hadn't eaten breakfast and I had a really boozy mimosa. And I was like, I still like 2 people left. And I was like, I want to have a nap. Like I can't finish this. The best is when I do for like friends' weddings and they are like, just hang out after. We're going to go take photos. And I stay in the hotel room drinking whatever booze is like hanging out.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a whole different world. But yeah, a lot of people try to save money by only getting one person, but try to get more people. Just makes time go faster. And time is money.
That's right.
Have you heard that before? That
you heard it here. Yeah. Oh, we got
to
this
coin that one.
Quote from Megan Fraser.
Time is money.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I mean, I guess you mentioned a couple of the struggles, because usually we'll ask this question, but you did mention a couple of them just kind of naturally. But is there anything else, like as a makeup artist, as a working artist in this field, is there anything that you're particularly struggling with these days? Other than COVID,
I was like, well,
there's this kind of global pandemic thing.
Yeah, I'm at the beginning of the pandemic. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I picked a career that I have to be around maskless faces to touch people's face. Struggle. It's without COVID. When you're first starting, especially when you're first starting out to be a makeup artist, it's hard to like. In general, like I feel like the respect of the job, because at first when I would tell people I'm a makeup artist, like, oh, do you work at MAC? I'm like, no, I work in no offense, people work at MAC, that's a totally fine job, but I'd be like, no, I'm like, I've trained for years to work in TV and film. So to gain like, so now I just say I do special effects makeup, because that always makes people way more impressed than just like regular makeup. Oh yeah, do you work on it? And then you get to say like your credits and they're like, oh. That I find like for me at the very beginning, I didn't have like, I just got a car for the first time, and trying to get around the city with like a huge makeup kit was like,
how heavy is your makeup kit?
Think of like if you're going on a vacation with like a big suitcase, like for like say like 2 weeks, it'd probably be the same time. But also like depends what I'm doing, because I either have that and then a smaller bag. And then sometimes I have to bring a chair with me. Sometimes I have to bring lighting with me, depending on where I'm going, because sometimes they don't have a chair. So sometimes you have to, this is also a struggle. Sometimes you show up and they only have like really short chairs. And as a tall person, I have to be hunched over, especially if you're doing 4 or 5 people's makeup. So if they don't have a chair for, a taller stool, like something taller. So I always keep one in my car now. But lighting, because sometimes again, I worked on a commercial where they couldn't find a place for me. The first place were like, hey, the washroom. Like, I'm not doing makeup in a washroom. Yeah. Then they asked me if I could do makeup outside. And I was like, it's hot out. It's going to move my stuff and whatever. So they found me a spot in a basement of this house we were shooting in. And no joke, literally had one of those dangling light bulbs. And that's it.
A murder bulb.
So I had to have the person like lean back and kind of look directly into that light bulb.
No.
So I could, so after that day, I was like, I need to have a lighting in my kit. So I just bought this like, it's not a C-stand lighting. It's pretty easy to tote around, but I look, it's wild walking around with like 30 bags.
Yeah, without a car, getting on the TTC or the GO train.
So that was the thing. And also like to stay inspired, like it to stay, because I know during this pandemic, a lot of makeup artists quit or like decide to start their families so they could, you know, come back to it in a few years, which, you know, good decision if you're going to have a family. But to try to stay kind of stay positive and try to stick with it. That's back to, I think we went off on back to my body painting, how that started. To bring that back from way earlier. That's one of the reasons why one of the reasons I started doing the body painting was because I wasn't working, I was bored. So I did I think the first one that really made people laugh, it was also because people were enjoying it and laughing at it, was when I did Borat. People thought that was hilarious and I was like, okay. And then it became a thing where people were kind of expecting it, so I felt like I had to keep doing it. And then this is always what happens to me on Halloween too. I overdo it, or I do something that ends up, you know, being cool, and then I get stressed out of trying to make it cooler each time I do it. And then
what was your record for winning that contest? 5 years in a row?
I won 5 years in a row, and then I got third the 6th year, and then last year I lost. But I knew as soon as I walked in, I think people were like, like they were like kind of afraid of me because it was a kind of a scary costume, but not in a horror scary way. I went as a hybrid human pig version of Miss Piggy. I looked at myself going, this is actually like in people's nightmares. And then the people who won, Alan dressed as Andre 3000 from the Polaroid video.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And as soon as he walked in, I was like, that's so good. He's going to win. And then our friend Anders went as Jessica Rabbit.
That's
so
right.
like a drag Jessica Rabbit, that's going to win.
Yeah.
So I was just like, whatever. But it was so funny because Gary, who runs Comedy Bar, was like, oh, you lost. And I was like, it had to happen at some point. I'm like, I'll come back next year with like a blow up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I always joke and say I'm going to
don't spoil it.
Well,
I usually don't come up. No, I usually don't come up with it until like a month. I don't even know. Like I always say, I'm like, am I going to go out next year? And then I spend $500. I'm like, gosh. But I think I want to do more of a build than a prosthetic.
Oh, cool. I loved your Little Shop one. That was, I think, my favorite.
I think that was one of my favorite costumes. Going as Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors. I think my favorite though is when I went as Captain Planet. I liked that one.
I think maybe it's because I wasn't there. I think I was at the party for Seymour, and maybe I just saw Captain Planet, which I remember being like, "Oh, that's awesome," but I didn't actually interact with you. You know, like because Seymour, you had Audrey too.
It was a puppet. But also thinking back to that too, I did everything with one hand because my hand was in a puppet the entire time, and then I had a fake arm. So that was fun because I could scare people and be like, and have the puppet jump at them. Yeah, I think I just like Captain Planet because I built it entirely from scratch. Well, I did Seymour from scratch too. I don't know. They both were really good costumes. Yeah, back then I was like thinking back to like those costumes, like my early Comedy Bar ones. And I was just like, yeah, those were kind of just easier. Like they were busy, but not as obscure, I guess, as a human pig hybrid that I wanted to do. Yeah. Like even going as the Count, like the Halloween that I didn't go anywhere, was still a bit easier in my head. I don't know. It was so weird. I think
you're trying to outdo yourself.
I'm trying to outdo myself. When did I almost lose a Comedy Bar? And it was like, no offense if this person is listening to this. They went as, I can't remember what they were. They were literally wearing a cardboard box though. Like wasn't great, but people were cheering for them. And then I was dressed as, I think that was the year I was the Lady Gremlin from Gremlins 2. Nice. And I almost lost to somebody just wearing a cardboard box. And I was like, I made these prosthetics from scratch. I made this wig. I made the outfit. And And again, no offense to like, again, a homemade costume, but I was just like, really? Or what happened, I'm not sure if you remember this. I submitted my costume when I went as the female alien from Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
I submitted to an online contest, and then I lost to a guy dressed as the cable guy because he was making the Jim Carrey face wearing a jumpsuit that he bought from an army supply store. And I was so mad.
That's just
That's just all political.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bribery for sure. No, I just thought it was so funny. I was like, I spent a month making that costume. He was the cable guy.
He just had a warehouse jumpsuit that he already owned.
Yeah,
And an eyebrow.
or it was one of those things, those people who just go as the same thing every year.
Right.
Like, I've dated some of those people. And I'm just like, you don't love Halloween? Actually, one of my numerous boyfriends, that makes it sound like I've had boyfriends. I've had like 4 boyfriends ever. We broke up because we got in a fight on Halloween about our costumes.
Oh my.
Oh no. Hey, look, if this is something you're serious about and you're passionate about,
for sure.
Then you
should put that in my Bumble profile.
Yeah. Are you not in one of your Halloween costumes for your Bumble profile?
Actually, my dating site is mostly my Halloween costumes because I just want to see the reaction it gets.
Yeah.
And the reaction is no one swipes right on me.
On the human piggy hybrid, it's not a popular.
Yeah. My tits were out in that costume. Hair.
Oh,
it's because I also put like mud like in my cleavage.
What dudes are?
Why don't people become sexy?
Man. I love that. Nick, is there anything you would like to add on the subject of dirt in your cleavage?
In cleavage, I got nowhere to go after that one particularly.
Well, Megan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. If you want to follow Megan, is there where can people look at your cool body art, and do you have a website or anything like that so people can follow you?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Meg Fraser, MEGFRASER. My website's just Megan.
We'll tag.
My website's just Megan Fraser. I have kind of some cool stuff on there, like my special effects stuff, and I make puppets and stuff as well. If you want to see me complain about anti-vaxxers, my Twitter.
Oh yes, please.
That's my new thing right now. No, it's been 2 years. Is Megan Fraser at Megan Fraser. So I post a lot of my makeup on Twitter as well, but I try to be funny on there, but also yell at people.
Yeah,
as one should.
That sounds like that's what Twitter's for. Anyway, on that note, Meg, you want to say struggle on with us? That's how we close our show.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Struggle on.
So that was episode 75 of the Constant Struggle podcast. If you'd like more information about Megan Fraser, we're going to put all of Megan's social media information and her website up on our show notes, and you can access those on our website at theconstantstruggle.podbean.com. So you can head over there if you want to take a look at Megan's cool art that she posts on her Instagram and her cool opinions that she posts on Twitter.
Yep, great episode. And her pictures totally go along with the episodes too. So yeah, make sure you go and check that out. And if you like this episode and found it helpful, share it around, spread it about, and maybe it'll help someone else's artsy struggles along the way, along their journey. Brie.
Oh, I like that. You can really help us out on our journey if you like, share, and subscribe to our podcast and to our episodes at Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, and I just heard about Good Pods, and it sounds like a pretty cool one too. So we should check out Good Pods.
Okay. And don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at StrugglePod, like our Facebook fan page at The Constant Struggle Podcast, and thank you for listening.
Are you ready for this, Nick? Struggle
on.